Peter McGuire is joining us on the phone line. Peter, always a pleasure. I mean, I don't know if you have access to our screens right now, but there's a very direct impact that you're seeing of the Saudi comments that came in a while back on we are comfortable with Brent at $80 per barrel and the impact it's had on the Indian rupee. Both have moved in tandem. The rupee is now at the lows of the day. Explain this comment to us, Peter. What does Saudi mean when they say we are comfortable with Brent at $80 per barrel?
Well, good afternoon, and there's no doubt that these sort of comments are, in some ways it appeases and makes OPEC and it's naturally the Russians and a number of those other large markets very, very satisfied with the current price range. It certainly affects markets, emerging, and certainly what we've in the short and medium term has been, very, very troubling. And this is a very similar framework of what we saw putting our minds back 10 years ago in 2008 when crude hit $147 a barrel and what impact it has to the consumer in the street. So I would be dare saying that the way that this is moving, we're probably going to hold these sort of numbers leading into the OPEC meeting on the 3rd of December in Vienna.
Absolutely, Peter. Let me ask you this then. And again, I'm asking on the back of the comment that the Saudis have made. Are they indicating that this $80 or around $80 should be the new base, or should we see it as the new peak as far as crude prices go?
Well, it's hard to put us in a sense of a peak. Remembering that we've seen, the market nearly doubled these prices 10 years ago. So there's the first pathway. Second one is that naturally we've seen over the last 30 to 50 years OPEC coming out with these statements, and certainly Saudis are the number one producer as far as OPEC. So they're saying that they're satisfied with the pricing. It's a little bit of, I think, shoot a gun over the bow of the boat and just see what it hits. And it certainly gets people aware that they're not going to sit back and they don't want $40 a barrel, and they're very happy with these sort of numbers, remembering that there's been talk as far as the IPO from Saudi Aramco. What is it going ahead? By the sounds of it, at the moment it's not going ahead. So naturally they want to see a higher crude price, and this is just part and parcel as far as the negotiations and the so-called argy-bargy of the crude market.
Right, Peter, very good evening to you. I just want to get a sense from you. Of course, it's very, very hard to forecast where prices will go at this point. But the most recent report from the IEA puts it at $80 a barrel, or at least they expect that oil prices can be pushed above that. Keeping in mind the comments we've got from the Saudis, keeping in mind Iran sanctions as well, what is the number that you are working with realistically?
I think you have to be looking at those sort of, that 65 to probably 75 for WTI. Brent will probably be a $72 to $80, $82 trade. They're hard because, and now comes the next part as far as weather outages and what happens. We've just lived through a major storm hitting South Carolina, as we saw. There's still 2 months to go in as far as hurricane season in the US, and that's dealing with Mother Nature. Have a look at the price of the US dollar. Think as far as what President Trump's doing with the tariffs going into China, and you're talking about the Iran sanctions. So they're the melting pot at the moment, and that can lead to a lot of disconnects across the market because of so many actors in there and so many moving parts. So I think at the present, you'd have to say that crude's probably on that. It'll probably whipsaw a little bit around this sort of number, but I think it'll be stronger over the next couple of months, as I said, leading into that OPEC meeting in December 3rd.